Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up today, Death with Dignity.
Ooh, we're going to die on the show
No, we're not going to die.
with dignity. We're going to do it in a very dignified manner.
Yeah, okay.
Or we'll talk about it,
Well, the show, yeah, okay.
about dying.
Yeah, that's a thing, I guess.
We'll pick later. We'll decide later what we're going to do.
Yeah, this, of course, is related to the whole Brittany Murphy thing.
Maynard.
Brittany
Murphy was another death, but
Oh, I typed Brittany Murphy on my notes. It's funny that my fingers would just go straight to Brittany Murphy.
it makes total sense.
I don't know that. I mean, I guess.
That's just the name that you hear. When you hear Brittany and an M. Anyway,
another unfortunate death, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. But Brittany Maynard is the one we're going to be talking about. If you don't know who that is, stay tuned,
Yeah, indeed.
and we'll fill you in.
I'm still embarrassed about that.
That's okay.
It's past. It's past.
Good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Should we just move on then?
Oh, can we?
Yes. I'm going to talk about So we just had elections here in these United States of America.
Yeah. They did happen.
So we got to decide which party was going to control the Do Nothing Congress for the next 2 years.
Our democracy is strong.
Yes, indeed. It was so funny. I saw so many people who just on Facebook or whatever who were just because most of my friends are pretty liberal.
Yeah.
I have some very conservative friends, but most of my friends are pretty liberal, and they were just like, "What are we gonna do? This is the worst thing ever." And I'm just like, "Oh no." Now the Republican-controlled Congress will do nothing, as opposed to the Democrat-controlled Senate doing nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
It's just the worst.
It is the worst.
Well, at least now they, on their clock,
Yeah.
or rather on their watch, they get to do nothing.
Right. It's
And
exactly.
prove to everybody that
we
they
can
can't do anything either.
We can effectively blame them instead of effectively blaming our guys.
Getting blamed.
Right.
Well, I guess we're not. We're really doing nothing.
You and I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not doing anything. I barely voted. I mean, I voted.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can vote. There are no degrees of voting. If you voted, it's kind of a binary yes no sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Good.
so the elections happened. There may be some trouble. Now, you'll recall that churches. You remember churches? You've heard of those.
Unfortunately,
They're not allowed in this country to endorse a candidate. They're allowed to discuss issues, but they are not allowed to endorse a specific candidate. That would be called electioneering, and they can't do that. Well,
have they?
There was a church in Albuquerque, a legacy church of Albuquerque, which they had their own way of doing it. They handed out mock ballots, sample ballots, to their parishioners, with names highlighted.
So no words were uttered.
just
how clever!
Here you go.
They got around that law.
I think maybe they didn't.
They made it. They figured it out. If they don't say it, then they can tell you who you should vote for.
It's not over the pulpit. They're
No.
not speaking the words. They're just,
No.
I just gave them a sample ballot. Sample ballots are good. They need to be informed about who's there.
How did that get bright yellow?
That's
who did this?
Must have been God's own highlighter.
His bright yellow finger.
That's right. Jesus,
his day glow finger.
If people don't know that Jesus' blood was bright yellow, was neon yellow.
It's not as. It's probably more like.
Don't no.
No, it's just oozy like he's got like a pussy like. He's got Jesus'
bile.
sores.
It's bile.
His sores are highlighter yellow.
Yeah. Anyway, so there have been calls for the IRS to enforce their laws and say and revoke this church's tax exempt status.
Like they will.
Well, they've promised that they will.
Bah.
We have
I'll
not
believe it when I see it.
exactly.
Actually.
We have not yet seen any evidence that they will. But here we have a literally in black and white and yellow proof.
You would think
that they've
they
done
would
this.
want all the money they could get for the U.S. Treasury.
I want the U.S. Treasury to have all the money it can get, and
Yeah.
not from me. I would like it to get it from other sources than myself.
From religious groups.
So
Yeah.
yes, please tax the churches. Dear Heavenly Father, please make us tax the churches.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
Give unto Caesar, right?
Sure, render that shit.
Yeah. Well, I've got the story of Brittany Murphy. And
Stop it. Stop it.
No. I actually have. Well, let's just get the election stuff out of the way. Let's just do that.
Sounds good.
So there was a lot that people have been talking about today,
Yeah.
in particular, and I'm sure for the next few days, about this election. And some of the results and outcomes and what have yous. One thing that you may not have heard, Dan, was what did they call those things when they, like a referendum type thing, a ballot initiative.
Oh.
Okay, down in Alabama,
Uh-huh.
where it passed. They've passed one of these laws that are targeted at making sure that sharia does not get implemented.
Oh, good.
It's one of those where they say that they ban foreign laws. There will be no foreign laws in Alabama.
This is a problem, Alabama.
But
because
what if they're domestic laws? What if what if the Muslims get into power and then it's just
right?
they just pass these laws?
Yeah, because Muslims are still legal in this country right now.
Yeah, currently. Yeah. Because when Oklahoma tried to pass their law and it mentioned Sharia, this was a few years ago. I think we talked about it. It got struck down. I think we talked about it being struck down.
Yeah.
And but Alabama, no foreign laws in Alabama.
Well, let me
Good on them.
Let me tell you something. I know of several foreign countries in which there's a law against murder. So does that mean that Alabama can't have a law against murder anymore?
We already have one of those.
I think it
Here's
started
the deal,
before in other lands.
Apparently, according to some sort of legal expert, someone who knows more about this than me. Well, there's this guy Randy Brinson. I don't know if he's a legal person, but he's the president of the Christian Coalition of Alabama, which actually spoke out against this. He said that the law is just plain silliness, and that it does not actually protect Christian values.
Oh.
And here's the interesting thing, that it could potentially jeopardize foreign adoptions. Marriages to people outside of the U.S.
Oh, interesting.
And somehow religious liberty. I'm not quite sure how that works. But apparently this whole thing about foreign adoptions, because the courts and the system have to sort of consider these legal documents from other countries or something of the sort.
Yeah.
And could cause problems. I don't know if it could get in the way, but it could sort of muddy the waters somehow.
I suppose so. I mean,
again, not legal scholar.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Speaking.
The thing is that the whole concept is, of course, just silly pandering to uninformed and terrified Fox News watchers.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing. But I mean, hello.
I don't want Sharia. Dan, I don't want Sharia law in this country.
I got news for these guys. 10 Commandments, foreign law. The 10 Commandments came right out of the Middle East. That shit's foreign as it gets.
But Dan, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't want Sharia law either.
I definitely don't.
So
yeah, it's fine.
What do you do? You have to ban that shit, right? And you have to work hard to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Okay, so basically the strategy that we've come up with is we don't only phase 1 may be we pass the laws that we like. But phase 2 is we pass laws against laws that we don't like. Is that what we're
laws against laws?
Yeah, we're passing laws to make sure that those laws don't come near
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Hey, I think doesn't that seem fair to you?
It seems like a very big waste of time and money.
It does seem like a big waste of time. It does seem like a waste of money. I would rather it was just against Sharia law. Just come out and say it.
Right. How about against religious law?
Hey,
How about that?
term it that way?
And see how they feel.
Ooh, Dan.
And then when everybody's like, you can't do that, this is a Christian country, I'll be like, well, what about Sharia law then?
you don't want it, do you?
What do you want? Sharia law? Is that what you want? You want Sharia law in this country?
That's religious law.
That's religious law. We got to ban it.
Must be banned.
Sorry, it's the only choice.
Get rid of it.
It's the only option we got.
Rid of it.
I'm going to move on to
Whatever.
Oregon.
Oh, what's in Oregon?
Well, I think legalized weed, isn't it? Did they win on that? I think they
don't
did.
know. I don't care.
I didn't actually pay attention to that. But guess what else? Here's what else is in Oregon: a federal district court, which
They
has
have one up there.
They do. They've got all of the amenities that a good state should have.
Wow.
In Oregon.
Wow.
So this particular court heard a case called American Humanist Association versus United States.
My God.
This was brought by the AHA and a feller named Jason Holden, who is currently a federal prisoner.
Oh.
And the dealio is this. He
Really?
wanted to get together with other non-believing types in the federal prison system and have study time. Because the Christians get study time and the Muslims get study time. But he was denied study time because he's a humanist.
Rude.
I think it is rude.
Yeah.
Well, now it has been ruled to be not only rude, but illegal. Meaning this federal court has now ruled that for the purposes of this, and for the purposes of being in accordance with the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of our Constitution of these United States,
Okay.
humanism is a religion.
What?
There you go.
What?
I mean, all this is saying is
Yeah.
that legally it's putting humanism on a legal par, or giving it legal parity with all of these other religions.
That I'm okay with, but I don't know about it being. They're defined, but they're having to define it as a religion in order to do that.
Correct.
Does that mean they get tax exempt shit?
Well, the American Humanist Association is already tax exempt.
They're a 501c3 probably, or
Yeah.
something of the sort.
Yep, they're already in that same category as far as tax exempt.
Yeah, but
status is
do they get like rectories and whatnot? Do they get all the other good ones?
I'm sure that they could have a rectory if they wanted it.
Do they get like their closed books? How's that?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
That's the one.
That's the question. Can
Yeah.
they close their books and not show anybody anything about their finances?
Yeah.
I think they have a case for it now.
But
I think they have a solid case for it.
the thing is, that's one of the things though. As a nonprofit, you want that transparency. You truly do. Like, it's actually a good thing.
If you want to be able to show donors what's going on,
it would be really nice if they could just have that right.
right? Exactly.
Huh.
And then opt to use it or not as they see fit.
Right. Exactly.
That would be nice.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. There
like
you go. I want to see how this ripples toward the Pastafarians. The flying spaghetti monster people are
exactly.
probably chomping at the bit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. I'm gonna go to Pakistan for a minute. Apparently, there was, and I didn't really hear about this until, like, half hour ago
Oh,
when I was prepping
for
prepping for the show.
Yeah.
But there was this incident of there was this Christian couple. Married
Okay.
couple
That's a group.
in Pakistan.
It's a small group.
Small group. And they're in their 20s, 28 and 25.
Oh.
And they were accused of desecrating a Quran.
Oh dear.
And so an angry mob of Muslims formed.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do.
Sure.
And they attacked them and later burnt their bodies. So they killed them.
Yeah.
They burnt their bodies and in a brick kiln.
Oh my God.
And and so it's this kind of this big deal.
Yeah.
The owner of the brick kiln was the one who really sort of said that it was a religious thing that had happened. That it was that apparently the woman Shama, they locked her up for 2 days. And then attacked her with shovels.
Jesus.
And then they tortured her husband, and they were both then thrown into the kiln. Anyways, 44 people have now been arrested.
Oh.
44 people have been arrested as being members of this mob and having been a part of the whole thing. Now, horrible story.
Yeah.
I came upon this story at the Christian Post.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And so I don't want to make light of what happened.
No.
But boy, they're playing up the whole Christian victimhood narrative.
How does this make Christians victims? This isn't just Muslim on Muslim.
It was a Christian couple.
Oh, the couple was Christian.
Yeah.
Oh,
desecration of a Quran.
How did they? Well, I just assumed that they were Muslims. Who
No,
desecrated
I'm pretty sure I said Christian.
Maybe you did. I didn't hear it. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah.
Muslim on Christian, it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's you're right that the truly interesting part of this story is that they were arrested, that the mob some sort of legal reckoning has been in the offing. Who knows what their sentence will be or whatever, because I don't know much about Pakistan.
No, I really don't either. Apparently though, there's the blasphemy and such other related crimes. They often use that as an excuse to attack people.
Yeah.
Of in religious minorities.
Yeah, absolutely.
And often completely trumped up.
Oh, yeah.
Is what the article goes on to say. They're not saying whether or not this couple actually desecrated a Quran. If I were in anywhere near Muslims, I think the last thing I would do is desecrate a Quran, because
if you're in their country,
especially if you're in like a Muslim majority country,
right?
Like, I cannot imagine the person who's like, you know what sounds fun.
Hey, sweetheart, you know what sounds like a good idea? I'm just gonna bounce this off you, see what you think. What if we took this book here?
Now, it's not our holy book,
right? But they all love it.
Yeah.
So won't it be a funny prank if you and I desecrate it?
Yeah.
That'll be good.
That sounds like a good idea.
I think they'll get a kick out of it.
I have to tell you, I was about to say the exact same thing.
We are definitely on the same page. We're so doing this.
Then we have to do it.
This is happening. Yeah, that's what goes through your mind. Certainly when I'm in a foreign land,
yeah,
especially a land whose culture differs pretty dramatically from my own, the first thing I do is go out and act wild. Just to test them.
Yeah.
Just to see what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, India, I'm just going to go a little crazy, see what y'all do.
I'm going to kill a cow.
I'm going to spit on somebody and see who gets mad.
Yeah. Yeah, just go around.
Testing the waters.
See where you fit in the caste system.
Right.
Who are you allowed to spit on?
I am a Western tourist. Who can I spit on?
It was in the brochure.
Yes.
It was one of the reasons I came to this country. I heard I could spit on people.
Oh, my God, we're awful. Well, I am going to tell a story that isn't any funner.
Oh no!
Yeah, this is a good one.
This
This is a
this
good
is the
one.
downer part of the show.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you're ending with a bang for our listeners. So, do you remember just a few weeks ago, not too long ago, I told the story of a nutball who I think it was in Oklahoma.
Yeah, probably.
Who went into a warehouse and beheaded a woman, an ex-coworker?
I think it was on. I think I brought up the story. It was in an Oklahoma news outlet. Oh no!
I brought up the story.
I had a related story in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Of people overreacting to the whole thing. That's what it was.
Okay,
that's what it was. Okay.
Anyway, man, there is something in the water in Oklahoma. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So this time, what happened? A young 21-year-old man named Isaiah Marin is being charged with first-degree murder for the killing of another young man, a 19-year-old named Jacob Crockett.
Okay.
He basically all but beheaded him as well. I don't know what there was the head was still somewhat attached, but mostly not.
What, I don't even want to go there.
No,
I was
you
going
don't.
to say what, by tendons?
I don't know,
Okay.
and I'm happy not to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, this time though, it wasn't motivated by Muslim anger.
Oh,
This
so an
time,
improvement.
It was motivated by Christian anger.
Yeah, better. Christian anger seems more righteous somehow.
No, it's just not.
No.
Yeah, this guy went nutso. I mean, apparently, it's clear that this kid had mental problems. His brother says that he was a drug addict, and looking at his picture, that's totally believable.
Oh, okay.
And he, apparently he went and attacked this guy with a machete.
Oh my!
And his reasoning is unclear, but it seems to be that he objected to this kid practicing witchcraft.
The kid who he beheaded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jacob was a practitioner of witchcraft, I guess.
Like he was Wiccan, or
I guess it doesn't really. I haven't found much about that, but apparently he did,
or he just dressed in black and.
Yeah, I mean the picture that I've seen of him, he's wearing sort of heavy metal badges on his leather jacket and doing the Dio rock on sign and all that sort of stuff. He's a kid.
Yeah,
he was just a kid, but I mean, Meth Head McGee over here was also a Christian zealot, and apparently a wild Christian zealot.
Oh, okay.
And unhinged about it as well. A blog on Pathos, the progressive secular humanist blog, has a snippet of a post from his Facebook page that says, this is August 8th of this year, that said, tried to take on a demon, and God had to help me through the tough parts. Got to be careful with my words and pay closer attention to my emotions. Need to figure out how to keep on speaking when I'm with the presence of the Lord God.
What?
That to me says we got an unbalanced kid here.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
wow.
Now he's unbalanced, he's mentally unbalanced, and he's brought Jesus into the mix.
Yeah.
That is not a good recipe. And apparently what that recipe yields is somebody without a head.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Oh my God.
Yeah, apparently this guy, he turned himself in. He called 911 and said he killed somebody.
Oh my God.
And then the state troopers found him walking along the highway, covered in blood and carrying a machete.
He really had a machete.
Yeah.
Where does one even find a machete?
Oh, you can get a machete. I'll get you a machete. You want a machete? I'll find you a machete.
Okay. Get me a machete.
I don't know where you get a machete.
I don't know where.
Amazon. That's where you get everything. Oh, it's Amazon.
But you need one in the Amazon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right.
You need a machete, a digital machete to cut through all the crap on the website, on the Amazon. I'm merging
Oh,
the metaphor
I don't.
and the
Yeah.
anyway.
Sorry, that was kind of a little bit of a stretch.
Okay. Anyway,
All right,
sad days in Oklahoma. People be losing their heads in Oklahoma.
Indeed. Well, I want to go to the heavily religious Norway.
Oh yes.
Where actually one of the interesting things about Norway, it is one of those sort of, European countries that has seen a rapid decline in religious observance and whatnot. But it still has, they still do this church funding mechanism through like the tax system, right? So like if you're a member of a specific religion, then you just automatically get a certain percentage taken from your income, right? The Catholic Church in Norway has been secretly registering thousands of Catholics in order to illegally get these funds.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So what they do is they watch as immigrants come into Norway. They if they're from a Catholic majority country, they're just registering.
They're just assumed that they're Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
This person's from Mexico. Of course, he wants to pay the tax to the Catholics.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
What? An Italian? Give me that money.
And they're not. It's no small change that they end up collecting.
No, but not.
Apparently, they collected, or they will be collecting this year. It was like how much was it? It was like 130 million kroner or something like that.
Oh wow!
Which would be the equivalent of about $22 million, I think, is what I looked up. Yeah. Pretty crazy. The Norwegian government has not, at least when this article was posted earlier today, has not yet come out to say what they are going to do about this fraud that has been committed against their government.
Yeah, it's such a weird setup. We had somebody, if you'll recall, write into us. Talking about how when you're in a country that has a system like that, in order to not pay that tax, like, if your parents christened you, then you naturally just start paying that tax. And in order to not pay that tax, you have to renounce the church.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't just casually stop paying your tithing.
Right.
You can't casually stop putting money in the collection plate or whatever. You have to actually leave your church to do it.
I wonder what it takes for a church to get on this thing. I wonder if the Mormons participate.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
I mean
I wonder if the Pastafarians participate. I want to see.
I think
that'd be great.
I mean, it could be something that who knows?
As a matter of fact, I know that there are Norwegian members of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, because I saw a whole thing about a Norwegian guy who fought and successfully got his picture on his ID with the colander on his head.
Well, we have listeners in Norway, so if anybody wants to chime in on this, it would be appreciated.
Yeah.
We would follow up on this story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation, like we're calling on our Norwegian listeners to do, you can always email us. Our email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Right. You don't have to be Norsk, of course.
No.
Anyway, you can also phone into us. Leave us a voicemail. That's the number there is 424-666-8442.
Yes, and it's always a great conversation going on Facebook. Our official, public Facebook page is facebook.com/TGIAtheist. There's also a Twitter feed @TGIAtheist as well.
And the closed group is the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Join that for lively discussion, and nobody has to know that you're an atheist.
On Facebook.
On the Facebooks. Yes.
All right. And our website is thankgodimatheist.com. We're going to take a quick break. This is that delightful Brian Fisher.
That guy is a treat.
With his on his beautiful little radio show.
He apparently they had a big prayer session to help rid Texas of the queers.
Oh,
and it's had
doing
some
the Lord's work.
It's had some good effects.
Let's go to Steve in Point Blank, Texas. Steve, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hello, Brian.
Hey.
First of all, I'd like to say that I listened into the rally in Houston Sunday, and that was really good.
That was good, wasn't it? That was just great.
It was. There was some very powerful speakers there. And
in fact, Steve, let me interject this. It occurred to me last night, a good part of Sunday night was a lot of these pastors in Houston and a lot of people all around the country kneeling in prayer on the floor of that auditorium, repenting of sins, seeking God for forgiveness for ourselves and for this land. And then Tuesday, we have this dramatic victory. I got to believe there's a connection there.
It worked.
Ta-da!
It worked.
You see?
It finally worked.
Apparently, prayer works if you pray for one thing and then a totally different thing happens. Then we know that prayer works.
No, it just worked. It worked, Dan. It's fine. It's like people have been trying for so long.
They pray so much, and
so long.
The gay marriage thing just keeps keeps happening more and more and more, despite their prayers. But it just goes to show the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Finally.
So if you pray hard enough for the queers to get out, then Republicans will win elections.
Well, because they want to get the queers out.
It makes so much sense. I almost get it.
Well, I mean, God works through political ways.
God,
they're not so mysterious. You understand politics.
Yeah,
he's very tricky.
He is a
lot
tricky
of backroom
God.
Deals.
Our God is a tricky God. Anyway, we were written to and voicemailed at, and I'm going to read an email that we got.
All right.
This comes to us from Eric, who you apparently had listened to our ghost story, and we had talked about explanations for ghosts. He says, "Hey, Frank and Dan, I just finished listening to your Halloween episode in which you covered various explanations for ghost encounters.
Right.
I was interested to see that you did not cover infrasound." Infrasound is a sound with a frequency lower than 20 hertz, which is lower than the limit of human hearing.
Yeah.
While most people can detect these sounds, they often don't register in the brain as sound.
Yeah.
Instead, when subjected to such sounds, many people report feelings of anxiety, uneasiness, extreme sorrow, nervous feelings of revulsion or fear, chills down the spine, and feelings of pressure on the chest.
Oh, my God.
It has been suggested that these reactions were developed as evolutionary responses. After all, throughout most of our infancy as a species, the vast majority of things we encountered that produced frequencies in this range were very dangerous, e.g. earthquakes, predators, tornadoes, rock slides, tsunamis.
Yeah.
And he goes on to tell the story of Vic Tandy, who's the guy who discovered this phenomenon. He was in a laboratory that was supposedly haunted, and he felt very anxious. And apparently he kept seeing a gray blob out of the corner of his eye.
Ooh.
Yeah, really, really spooky. But when he turned to see it, it was gone. Oh, no. What was that gray blob? Anyway,
ghost.
The next day, he was working on his fencing foil. Apparently he's a fencer, a sword.
As well as an accomplished scientist.
An accomplished scientist. Okay. Anyway, he had the handle of it in a vise, and it's a long, very, very thin sword. Mm-hmm. And apparently it started vibrating wildly.
Oh, the singing sword.
The singing sword.
Yeah. He found it.
And he figured he did find it. And that led him to discover that the extractor fan in the lab was emitting a frequency of about 18 hertz, which is the resonant frequency of the eyeball given by NASA, which explained why he was seeing. He wasn't actually seeing something; he was hearing something with his eyeballs.
No way.
Because there was a stand. Apparently, the room was exactly the right length to create a standing wave.
Wow.
And he was at exactly the right spot in the room.
No way.
And it just jiggled his eyeball.
No way.
And his brain interpreted that as a blob. And he discovered this infrasound phenomenon.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about like people who build, commercial haunted houses, right?
Oh yeah,
they should be tapping into this.
Oh yeah,
have all these super low frequencies,
bunch of infrasound,
and a lot of infrasound. Just run around, create that sense of dread, like while people are in line.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And get them all worked up.
And then just have a really shitty haunted house because it doesn't matter.
Have to do much.
Because they're already freaked out.
They're already fucking freaked out.
Although I think that Mythbusters did a thing on this and they couldn't make the effect
always work
the way they wanted it to. Like they quote unquote haunted a house with infrasound.
Well, maybe
I don't know. I don't remember it very well, but I mean, it certainly could have an effect.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
And then there was the whole This American Life that talked about the haunted house that had multiple families move into it, and they all moved out because it was haunted.
Right.
And then they realized that there was a gas leak, and it was causing like there was this slow gas leak, and apparently once they fixed that, it was like, oh, it's not haunted anymore.
So what was the slow gas leak doing?
Apparently, like causing hallucinations. Like apparently people were seeing ghosts and stuff, but
and being lethargic.
Like, does anyone else feel
mood shifts?
Does anyone else feel dead in here? Because I feel like I'm gonna.
Does that smell like egg? Is it kind of a eggy, sulfury smell?
Yeah.
Is anybody else picking up on that?
I think this happened.
I think it's a ghost.
Yeah, that's why.
Clearly
That's
a
why
ghost.
they sent the gas now. You know, that's not actually what gas smells like.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's added.
It's added for your enjoyment.
Right.
Why don't you play a voicemail for us?
Okay.
Hey, Frank and Dan. This is Garrett from Texas. You had a caller on your last episode that was talking about his Christian wife, and I'm in the same boat. My wife grew up as a fundamentalist Christian with her very fundamentalist Southern Baptist family, and I sort of did when I was in high school. My parents took me to church and stuff, and I got really into it. And so we were both into it, I'd say, equally. And as I was kind of coming out of religion is when we sort of started dating, and she was still in. And we eventually got married, and I had to come out to her and be, super honest with her and tell her that I was having these doubts. I was being very kind about it, not totally bashing stupid religion with stupid beliefs and stupid things. I was just telling her that, I had these questions. I'm really trying to figure things out, and I'm really trying to learn as much as I can. And I focused on the learning aspect, and that aspect that focus of learning, trying to learn more about the world, is what really spoke to her. And over, I'd say, the 5 years or so that we've been married, she's slowly lost more and more of her belief. And the happiest moment for me, I guess, so far is whenever she kind of lost her belief in hell, and no longer really accepts that. And so from time to time, we talk about it. She likes having the Christian identity and doesn't really like thinking about it and just having her head in the sand, which is fine by me. We love each other, and we have really good conversations from time to time. But for her, I've noticed it's a very, very slow process where for me, accepting my atheism was a full-on thing. I had to learn as much as I could, as soon as I could. So for anybody that's going through that, try to go about it in that, that wants to have the conversation with their spouse. Try to go about it in a kind, gentle, and loving way, not in an attacking way, because it doesn't help anything. I hope that helps anybody. Have a good one. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the message.
Thanks for that. I don't go in for all of this kinder, gentler, lovey-dovey
It's
stuff.
not a good way to run a marriage.
No.
No.
The thing you want is a lot of aggression and trying to win your marriage by making your spouse feel stupid.
Yeah.
That's how you win at marriage.
Yeah.
So I don't go in for all of
It's
this stuff.
one little battle at a time.
Was it Garrett? Is that who that
Garrett,
was?
yeah.
Yeah, Garrett. I can't go with you on that. It's clearly marriage.
Terrible advice, Garrett.
Marriage is war, and you're clearly losing. No, that's exactly right.
She's secretly winning.
You be nice. You be nice.
You're being too nice.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what we're all about, Franklin. Wally.
That's just awful.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wally, I like that movie.
Wally Weak Sauce is what this gentleman has called himself. He wrote into us.
Okay.
He said, I loved your response to the listener who wondered how to respond to people asking for prayers. My response is always a little more sneaky than your more direct suggestion, but I often respond, quote, I'll be holding you in the light.
Okay.
It's an old Quaker saying I picked up when I was trying out the local Quaker meeting house.
Huh.
It sounds vaguely spiritual enough to satisfy most people if you're trying to send some encouragement without getting tangled in a debate about beliefs. On the uncommon occasion that someone asks what it means, you can easily respond, it's an old Quaker saying, I think it's lovely, which usually satisfies most people that it passes religious muster.
Well, all right.
There you go. All of that woo-woo stuff just rankles me.
Light.
Just rubbed me. Yeah, you start saying something about light. I had a friend who went to a therapist, and her therapist told her, she was, complaining about this person that was just being a disruptive influence in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And her therapist suggested that she, quote, send her pink light.
That's not a therapist.
You're not theraping right now. Although I do think my friend probably should have just gotten a pink light bulb and put it in a box and mailed it to her.
Yeah,
that would be.
I don't know that that's what.
I don't think that's what
that's what that quack meant.
Right.
Oh my God!
Send her pink light.
What does pink light do?
How about this? I'll send you pink light instead of payment. How's that sound?
I'll send you green light.
Yeah, I'll send. You tell me what color of light you want as payment for this bullshit, and I'll send it to you.
Cold hard cash.
Yeah.
I may be a quack, but I need money.
Exactly. No, it's just send the power company some light. Oh wait, that doesn't work. They send you light. Well, then you're just repaying them in kind, I guess. Jason wrote into us as well. Jason said, "Hey guys, love your show. I just became a monthly supporter, although I admit it's long overdue. In any case, do you have any idea when the men's extra large shirts might be back in stock? I need one."
Dan, you're going to bring this up?
I'm bringing it up because I'm putting pressure on ourselves.
Okay.
We are putting in a new order for shirts this week.
Yeah. So the turnaround won't be immediate.
No, because our shirt guy is just a guy.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
He has a small little space.
He's got a shop, and he'll turn it around pretty quick.
It's not his job, right? It's more of a...
He's making it his job.
He's trying to.
Yeah, silk screening is sort of his thing. Anyway, we like supporting him.
Yeah.
So it'll be soon. I'm going to say 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll announce it.
We might have to put some sweatshop pressure onto this whole thing.
Yeah, we may have to put some.
We may have to round up some
children,
some sweatshoppies,
and put them to work.
Yeah.
We'll see what we have to do, but they're on the way. Anyway, Jason is now a monthly subscriber.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for that. We also have a one-time donation, generous, lovely one-time donation from John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much for that. If you would like to join the ranks of these fine, upstanding listeners and donate to our program, we've got good reason for you to do so.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we are going to be permanently changing our show for the better, wildly for the better.
Yes.
It's going to be tough going for a while there. So we're going to set a goal. We'll be announcing this. I'm just teasing this right now, but we're going to need a lot more money.
Yeah. We're taking on a lot more work. We're actually bringing in another contributor.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we can announce it. It's Adam.
Adam,
who's been,
right?
A regular guest host when Dan's been out of town. We've had Adam on,
and Adam's piece, his produced piece last week, was so well received, and we've been wanting to find a way to make this a more professional show. We feel that we're very professional, but we want
produced show.
We're going to take it to a whole nother level, and that we're going to do that by bringing Adam on as a producer of pieces,
right?
And
basically, what we're doing is it's going to be more or less, you'll recognize the show, right? The first act of the show.
Oh, it's still these two idiots talking in a microphone.
Is going to be basically untouched.
Yeah,
in fact, untouched.
Right,
we can promise that, and that's always the part of the show that we felt has been the good part of the show. I'm dead serious.
You're going down a bad road right now.
I've always felt that was the good part of the show, and then I felt that there was the other part of the show that was sometimes good, sometimes really good, and other times it's not as good. I'm being dead serious. I just feel like the second half of the show sometimes hasn't felt.
So you're saying the part that we're about to go into right now
is the bad part of the show.
Is the weak, shitty part of the... Yeah. Turn off the show now. If you want to avoid...
Do yourself a favor.
The shitty part of the show. Just turn off the show now. No, Adam's going to be doing a great job for us. We're very excited to have him. It's going to cost us some money. So we're hoping that we're going to set a goal. We're going to have a drive coming up, but until then, please consider going to our page, which is thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab.
Absolutely. All right, well, we have something we want to talk about today, right?
We do. It's death.
Hollywood voice, Brittany Murphy.
No, stop it. Cut it out.
Voice of Family Guy character Peg.
Meg.
I'm just getting everything wrong today.
Yeah, you are. No, we're talking about Brittany Maynard. This is a young woman who was, I'm sure most of you encountered her video, which went quite viral. She was diagnosed with a horrible brain cancer that was incurable, and given a very short time frame in which she was going to be able to live, and a very, very, very horrific prognosis for the end of her life.
Right.
It was not going to be a nice way to go.
No.
So she chose to end her life. She opted to pick a date and to pick a method and be surrounded by family and to take matters into her own hands.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's great. That's when someone's life is going to end, and we can adequately predict that. You got a few options, and that's the one that I would personally choose, probably.
Yeah.
It's a brave thing to do, but there's no not brave options. You have to you choose one form of bravery or you choose another.
Right.
There's no good options at that point.
There could be a cowardly
option.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know what it is.
Just find a corner and cry until you're dead.
Just eat, Cheez-Its.
I don't feel like that is cowardly. And no matter how you slice it.
I'm trying to find a cowardly one just to counteract your argument.
Yep.
I think you're right.
You're such a contrarian, Frank.
When facing that, clearly. I can't say. I have absolutely no, I've had no real sickness in my life. Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's
to be superstitious.
It is very nice to be in that position. However, not everyone has responded to Mrs. Maynard's death and choice the way we did. You know that she had to move to Oregon in order to do this legally.
Right. Well, it's legal in Oregon,
and that's the only state in which it's legal. Physician-assisted suicide, or in Oregon they called it their death with dignity law.
Right.
It's only passed there. And I've always been a little baffled by it. To be perfectly honest, I've always been a little freaked out. Like, why isn't that an easy law to pass in other states? It seems like it should be fairly easy.
Because God gets to decide when you die.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I had not realized how strongly
Yeah.
that, because I mean, I knew the Catholics had a very, like Catholicism as a concept, as a church, has a big anti-suicide thing.
Right.
But I mean, Catholics aren't supposed to do birth control either, and we all know that they do. And Catholics aren't supposed to do, like, Catholics, you always think, well, yeah, that there's like what's in their canon of law, and then there's what Catholics care about, and those two things don't always match up.
Not really. No.
But apparently, I mean, so I found an interesting article talking about how a whole bunch of different religions line up on this issue.
Oh, okay.
And yes, of course, the Roman Catholics are staunchly against it.
Dead set.
They had the Archbishop Alexander Sample of the Archdiocese of Portland saying that assisted suicide, quote, sows confusion about the purpose of life and death.
What are the purposes?
What
is the purpose of death?
Jesus.
To go back to Jesus?
Yeah, I don't think
she's going back to Jesus sooner.
She's going, well, according to a lot of very, very mean people on the internet, she is definitely not going to Jesus.
Oh, really?
Because she's going to hell.
I love how people just get to choose what Jesus is who he's gonna take and who he's not gonna take.
Well, I mean, that one they've believed for a long time. So the Catholic Church is out. For the most part, Judaism, Orthodox, Conservative, and Reform all see the preservation of life as a cardinal value, according to it says here, and see assisted suicide as akin to murder.
Huh.
They don't feel the same way, and this is where it gets really wonky to me.
Right.
They don't feel the same way about do not resuscitate orders.
Right.
Or about unplugging the machine that's keeping someone going.
Right.
That's a different story.
That's a machine keeping the person going, and then God gets to decide.
Right.
If their body's too weak, then they die.
But we know rationalize but that's not the case. The God is not deciding. The person pulling the plug is deciding.
No,
we know that for a fact.
Dan. But it's been there's nothing in the good book that says don't pull the plug.
Right.
Yeah. And so they're able to figure that one out and live in a modern context, right?
Yeah.
But I have a question for you, Dan.
Sure.
Have you known anyone in your life who's committed suicide?
I have, and recently, actually.
Really?
Just about a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, my ex-wife's brother
really
killed himself.
Wow.
So and among others too. I've had
anyone while growing up, any experiences?
Yeah, when I was in high school, there was a kid that committed suicide.
Huh.
That I knew.
My scoutmaster committed suicide when I was 12, 13, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that was it. Really, what's interesting about it is when you go through it, you have two choices, right? When you're sort of trying to understand, and it, obviously a very different. I mean, he was mentally ill.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to us,
right?
We didn't know that he was bipolar.
Yeah.
You have to you try to figure out what happened.
Sure.
Why? I'm totally going down a very different road from medical assisted. But the point that I'm trying to get to is that I feel like I wrestled with my religion's official stance on this as being absolutely completely wrong, with the fact that information started coming out and getting down to us kids about his mental state.
Right.
And the adults who were concerned about us and how we were taking it, saying that the Lord knows what was in his heart.
Yeah, the Mormons go to that place sometimes.
And that caused me from an early age to have this very sort of open mind about suicide.
Well,
And I was just wondering, like,
there's
if
there's
you
an
processed
LDS
it
quote.
in those same ways.
There's a quote from an LDS apostle that says, "Although it's wrong to take one's own life, a person who commits suicide may not be responsible for his or her own acts. Only God can judge such a matter."
Yeah.
That seems like a healthy way for a church to handle that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was a kid and I encountered suicide, I don't know that it was strangely, because I was a very devout kid, but I don't know that I actually made a religious leap on that one. I feel like I actually just dealt with it in my as a problem of my own psyche, and didn't deal with it in religious.
You didn't
terms.
think about it in the sort of the religious ramifications?
No,
of
I
the thing?
didn't. Which is
Really?
weird for me.
Yeah,
But that's true.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Um,
Anyways, let's get back to the whole
well, so
Brittany
here's
Maynard. I was
right.
just wondering, sort of formatively, we've never talked about this issue. I was just
No.
curious where your sort of foundational where your foundations existed on this one.
I
Actually.
remember distinctly going through like even noticing the phases of grief as I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know, the anger and the bargaining and
Right.
stuff. But I don't remember ever thinking about it in religious terms. Well, I probably should have been. I mean, I guess our religion wasn't that strict about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Whereas these other religions are being really bullshit about some. So, I mean, like killing yourself because your life is just hard and you've got you've got depression that's crippling or whatever.
well,
is one thing.
right. Or just because.
Or just because. Whatever.
That's wrong.
For whatever reason.
You're just, what am I going to do today? That's wrong. That's
I-
selfish.
I don't give a wrong or right to that. I think everybody's life is their own choice. That's your life. You may choose to end it or continue it as you please. Is my feeling about it. But I can't imagine it not being obvious to people that when a person is terminally ill
Yeah.
and they are facing X amount of time of suffering and then they die. And that's all that's going to happen. And we know that's all that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Saying, oh no, God doesn't want that, like
Right.
seems like such a callous, awful thing. But man, I found Glenn Beck's take on the matter.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is on the Blaze, but it's not Glenn Beck. It's a blogger on Glenn Beck's website.
Okay.
And it's literally peppered with phrases that I can't even deal with.
Right.
I've addressed at length the admiration so many seem to have for the act of self-murder. It's a dangerous and disturbing trend. These people act like this person wasn't going to die anyway.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me.
No empathy.
None.
No.
Zero empathy. So back to how other religions respond. Oh my God, it's all just so crazy. Some people may be surprised to hear this. Dr. Hatem Bazian, an imam and co-founder of Zaytuna College. So he's Islamic, obviously, if he's an imam. He said, one of the key purposes of Islamic law is to preserve and protect life. Apparently, he hasn't read all of Islamic law. Because I'm pretty sure there are some clauses in there that aren't about preserving and protecting life.
Muslim life.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
supposed to be protected.
Continually
They should be
practicing.
fine. Muslims should be fine with an infidel
Right.
taking their own life.
Just-
one less they have to do.
They're just doing Allah's work for
one
them.
less.
Right, exactly. God damn it. He said, you cannot take affirmative steps to end someone's life. Meaning he's separating the idea of affirming a death rather than, again, pulling the plug
Right.
or like not treating an illness.
Right.
Not treating isn't killing, even if you have the ability to save that person. But killing is, preventing the suffering of a person is definitely not okay. It turns out that
Wow.
there are only 5 religious groups in the United States that explicitly permit physician-assisted suicide.
Well,
that
which one?
they can find.
I'm actually really curious.
Strangely, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the United Methodist Church,
Okay.
the Spiritualist Church, never heard of it,
Yeah.
and the Unitarian Universalist Church. And
Big surprise.
yeah, that one is the one that's obvious, and the United Church of Christ.
Also not a huge surprise.
So
Okay.
it's
Two not
big
not a
surprises.
surprise. One we'd never heard of, and two that are actually kind of surprising.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It's
I guess I really don't know that much about the United Methodist, but whatever.
yeah, me neither. And I don't know much about the Evangelical Lutherans either, but it just seems like they're
They've got evangelical in the name.
if you got evangelical in your name, it seems like you're probably in
You're
lockstep
going to have
with the,
wrong ideas about most things.
yeah. Clearly we are the ones with the wrong ideas, Frank, because we're wrong about them.
Ah, shit.
They even get into Wiccans and pagans on this article.
Wiccans don't like it?
They are there's no set rules, I don't think, in Wiccan
And the pagans?
in Wiccandom about it, but
What about the druids?
the Druids, nobody speaks their language, so it's hard to tell.
Damn.
It's
All
hard to
right.
tell what they know. I don't know. I maybe some of our listeners feel differently, but it seems like such a no-brainer to me to be okay with someone taking their own life, especially in the case of someone doing it because they know they're going to die anyway, and they might as well do it without the suffering.
Right.
It shocks me.
That's the one that I have absolutely zippo problem with.
Yeah.
I mean, I could dream up reasons to object to other suicides, but in the case
Right.
of Brittany Maynard, I have nothing but
Symphony.
sympathy.
You have
Symphony.
you have a symphony for
Nothing
her.
but sympathy for her situation.
Yeah,
Sympathy
absolutely.
obviously for her and her family, and clearly a horrible thing to go through.
Yeah.
And to find out, I mean, 29 years old, newlywed,
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's
I
just
guess
a
that's
sweet,
why
sweet seeming girl.
she has really captured the attention of so many people.
Right.
Is because her story is just so sad.
Yeah. So I just wanted to perpetuate this conversation. I think that it's an important one for us to have, and one that we should, I feel, be pretty adamant about. Because this is something that our laws should be okay with. All through Europe, I think that there's like maybe 2 countries in all of Europe where it's legal. And which is interesting because it creates this strange like suicide tourist thing.
Yeah.
We need to cut that out. We
Yeah.
need to be okay with people taking control of their lives and their deaths.
Yeah. Well, we need the euthanasia coaster.
Well, it's so
That would be the best tourist.
coaster.
Yeah, you've heard about the thing where
Oh, the
it's
roller coaster.
the roller coaster that spins you into oblivion.
Yeah.
And
I
anyways,
didn't see that. Anyway, but no, here's the other thing. Everybody's talking about euthanasia. I don't think that's what we're talking about
no,
here.
this is not euthanasia.
This is
actually.
this is not the same thing as euthanasia.
This is a full-grown adult in North America.
Stop it. Stop it with really? We're going to go down that road? The bad puns. Damn. No, it's probably important to make a distinction between, you choosing between, a doctor and family choosing to kill someone
Right.
who's in pain and a person taking initiative of their own lives.
Right.
I think that this is something we just get out there and talk to everybody you know. That's
And we want to hear from you, actually. We want to know what you think. And in particular, if you object.
Yeah, if we're missing an element of this,
Yeah.
and you want to bring it to our attention, we would love to hear from you. The way to do that is to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Yes, indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, or the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Is a great place to go as well.
Absolutely.
And have a conversation.
Absolutely. The website is thankgodimatheist.com. As always, thank you, Mackenzie, for all your help on Facebook.
And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the music that you're listening to as we speak.
And thank you, dear listener.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye.